Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis and really exciting times for Nurgle and Death Guard. We see a lot of leaks from the datasheets and rules, etc. So really excited about infiltrating Poxwalkers, afflicting Plague Marines and deep striking Deathshrouds. Really sick rules so far. Let's take a look on what we have seen. So today, the 25th of April, the Codex seems really good and exciting and fun, and there seems to be a lot of interesting new combinations and so on. And basically, the Codex is so sick that I even caught a cold. I see that as a blessing from Nurgle even before pre-ordering the Codex. So but in this video, as I said, the Death Card Codex has been leaked. There is a lot of, let's say, we'll look at the new rules and dynamics, what has been added and deleted in the Codex, and then first of impression of all our Death Card units that we have available. What are their new rules? My first ideas, but of course we don't know exactly the points. There is leaks on the point values, but many times when they get released, they update the balanced data slate anyway. So let's get started. So the general rules and the army contagion, and then this new afflicted keyword is a new, let's say, thing in the theme in our codex. As we saw previously, our contagion now includes the -1 toughness and the choice of plague that you select in the beginning of the game, and one of the detachments allows you to change that in your command phase. That's quite interesting. So you could choose from -1 to be hit, -1 save, or -1 move, leadership, and objective control on top of the -1 toughness. -1 to be hit, not as good as -1 to weapon skill or ballistic skill as it was before, but still quite neat. And when the enemy is inside of contagion range, or they are suffering the contagion, they are becoming afflicted. And there are multiple ways, I flicked through the data sheets and detachment rules, etc. There are multiple ways to make the enemy afflicted, even if they are not inside the basic contagion range of your units. So there are some detachment rules that allow you to select some units that are afflicted far beyond your contagion reach. There are some datasheet rules. For example, Plague Marines, as we will see, they can spread affliction or the contagion to certain units. There are stratagems, etc. So a lot of ways to make enemies afflicted. And then on top of this, and nice synergies, we have many rules in the units that benefit from the enemy being afflicted. So for example, deep striking Deathshroud versus afflicted units is really strong. The units can get rerolls, the spores can do mortal wounds easier, and a lot of stuff that goes through that really, yeah, nice synergy when the enemy is afflicted. And on top of this, we have seen in all the data sheets, we have a general increase of the toughness of Death Card. So basically our Terminators, they go up to toughness 7, and let's say the normal infantry, Plague Marines and their Virions and so on, they all go up to toughness 6. So toughness increase, maybe not so many weapons in this bracket, but still, okay, it doesn't hurt to have more toughness on baseline of our units. But of course we'll have to see it with the point costs. So and then of course we have something that has been deleted and some new units added in our codex. So basically the deleted units are some of the generic options. The generic Chaos Lord, the Lord in Terminator armor, and the Sorcerer in Terminator armor are gone from the codex, but we have a lot of characters. I believe more hurtful, of course, for lots of people are the cultists. They have the scout, and a lot of people use them, but now they are no longer possible. But we have got some very good rules for Poxwalkers that I think more than make up for this loss. But of course, for people's collection, I understand it can be a problem. And we have, of course, some new units and additions to the codex. We have the Lord of Poxes that I previewed in my previous video. I'll probably put a link here, and it's a Mathhammer. And we have the demons that are possible to take in one of the detachments, but no longer as allies. We cannot have demons as allies in the other detachments, but the demons we can take in the special detachment is Rotigus, the Great and Clean One, Nurglings, Plague Bearers, Plague Drones, so Beast of Nurgle, and as we will see, the Furtive Bloatdrone now is two data sheets instead of one, but more on that a little bit later. So our first look on all the units of the death card. I didn't look so much in the demons for this video. So first of all, for our infantry units, Poxwalkers is really huge change. They gain the infiltrator keyword, and this is a huge change. We can get some early board control. They can spread the contagion until basically the main force comes up. You could be deep striking, let's say 3 times 20 guys. If you have they are battle line in one of the detachments, then you could be infiltrating the whole board in this detachment probably. So if you have them battle line, you could have 120 Poxwalkers, and then you can use 30 extra with that special detachment. But really, infiltrator is really a big change. Nurglings could infiltrate for us, but with objective control 0 didn't really help. Here we can take cover. Yeah, we can take advantage and take board control, etc. So really a huge change, and I believe a lot of people will be using Poxwalkers now. Plague Marines, as I said, now up to toughness 6, and their previous ability, the Remorseless, wasn't really interesting, but now this new ability I think is really strong. One unit they have shot at, you can select it, and then they are afflicted. So basically you have the Plague Marines are now 24-inch contagion spreaders. So that's really strong for some of the other units, yeah, I mean, Plague Marines really strong. Maybe they would be up a couple of points, but still I think they would be they are much stronger now with this ability. And then Blightlord Terminators are now toughness 7, as the Terminator profile is toughness 7 now. Interestingly enough, they can be taken also as a unit of 3, but they get more benefits if they are 5 or 10. And their Bubotic Blade, the damage is now damage 2, so that's a good increase in the damage. Probably points go up, so I need to do a lot of math hammering. And if they have a ranged attack versus afflicted unit, they get +1 AP and +1 strength. So their combi bolters, for example, could also do a lot of things with AP and yeah, the more strength. And let's say if a Plague Marine shoots at them, they are afflicted, then the Blightlords can shoot them, and maybe if you have a -1 save on top contagion, you can probably do a lot of damage with increased rules. And then maybe to the other huge upgrade or change, the Deathshroud Terminators. They are also toughness 7 now. They don't have they are not more difficult to be wounded. They lost that ability, but they can now they gain a very strong ability. They can deep strike within 6 inch of afflicted units when they are set up from deep strike, and this is really huge. You could, let's say, shoot them with Plague Marines, and then let's say you can or you can have been maybe selected some unit that is afflicted, and then deep striking some a terrifying unit of Deathshroud within 6 inches of the back line or something like this could be really a game changer. And with 6-inch charge, you should be able to make that charge. And they give 4+ feel on pain to their leader, but of course, if the enemy doesn't have precision weapons, it doesn't make a very big difference. But the deep strike within 6 inches, I think that could be opening up for a lot of builds. Maybe, let's say, if you have the Poxwalkers infiltrating, you can advance them forward, spread the contagion, and then either the Deathshroud land in and yeah, destroy stuff. So really interesting, and I think I need more Deathshroud now, so I'm looking really for the combat patrol box. I think the spawn now also interesting because they have a scout move of 6 inches, and they can deal mortal wounds back to the enemy in melee when they are being attacked in melee. They can spread mortal wounds back. Scout is good, but maybe if we have infiltrating Poxwalkers, maybe not as strong, but still an improvement also for the Chaos Pawn. Looking then at the many multitude of characters we have in Death Guard, our Primarch Mortarion, he has now received a stronger damage output profile on his strike profile. Now it's D6+1, and it has devastating wounds and lethal hits. This is the strange combo we talk about. He can spread also mortal wounds when he's finishing. Yeah, enemies within him can take mortal wounds. So I like that thematically as well. And he has, instead of, let's say, not modifying the characteristics and things like that and supporting others, he has some interesting reactive abilities that you could give some death card within 6 inches of him some extra move when the enemy moves. You can give them fight on death, or you can give them shoot back, and that can be also used on himself, but he can also use it on other units. An extra move for a slow army like a death card, it can be really strong and put maybe your enemy back a foot, let's say. Typhus, toughness 7, not many changes to his profile as I could see. His weapon is has got a name Lacrimae. The Lord of Contagion is also toughness 7, and also good abilities for the Lord of Contagion. He gives sustained hits and lance for melee weapons in the unit he leads. So imagine this with the Deathshroud. Also deep striking 6 inches, they get launched on the charge. That could be really devastating, and he can also return back on a 2+ the first time he's destroyed. So yeah, it's good. It's really good with a lot of contagion. We have to see, of course, how the points go up. It seems like he would be more expensive than the other lords. A Lord of Violence at toughness 7, he still gives the reroll range to reroll to wound on ranged attacks. And now he can select one enemy within 30 inch he can see, and all units will get reroll once to hit, and the blast will reroll all to hit. So good, let's say, pointing a unit, and the rest of the army benefits. But we have to see how they face off. Maybe this would be good on Blightlords, and the Lord of Contagion probably on Deathshroud. And then if we go to the Lord of Boxes, as we saw him, he has +3 inch to his contagion range. He gives 18 inch, let's say, lone operative to the unit as a leader. He has his sword, but as we saw, it wasn't, yeah, I'm not really as impressed by him as maybe some of our other lords. Continuing with the Demon Prince, probably it seems like there will be 195 points, at least in the printed data points. The guy without wings is more interesting in my opinion than the guy with the wings. He gives cover within 6 inch aura. He gains lone operative if he's within 3 inch of death card unit, and he can reduce the cost of one stratagem by -1 command point. So it could give you some free use of stratagems for a unit that's close to him. So that can be quite strong, and there are quite a lot of nice stratagems in our new codex. The Demon Prince with wings, he can force a battle shock after charge. That's okay, and he can. If an enemy tries to fall back within 6 inch of him, they have to make desperate escape test. But I don't think, as I said, his abilities are as strong as the Demon Prince without wings. The Malignant Plaguecaster, I think, is really a winner in this codex. Toughness 6 now, and the big wow is that he gives sustained hits to weapons that are attacking an afflicted unit in the unit he leads, and basically that's all the weapons in melee, because then the enemy, of course, is in contagion range. And also for ranged weapons it can also help, because we have, as we have seen, there is a lot of ways to spread contagion further out. His psychic ability no longer does mortal wounds. He gives -2 move to infantry. That's quite nice, but I think he's probably an auto take together with Biologus. On a big blob of Plague Marines, Biologus would give them lethal hits and critical hits on 5+, with sustained hits 1. So basically on a 5+, you get both lethal hits and sustained hits, and that's really strong for our Plague Marines. As well, he can lead the Poxwalkers, but I think the main use will be in the combo with Biologus Purifier on Plague Marines. So really looking forward to this combo, and finally some good ways to get sustained hits without needing to take a special detachment and to use stratagems. So really strong. And then the Virion, all are toughness 6 now, with a new, let's say, profile for death card.
Biologus Purifier still one of the strongest, I think. He adds lethal hits and the critical hits on 5+. You cannot no longer use the grenade strat for free, but he gains 6 objective control on the first kill his unit makes. So that's okay. But basically you take him for the critical hits on 5+. The Foul Blightspawn no longer really an auto take in my book, as so far as I've seen. His fight first ability that he gives can only be used once per battle. Could be interesting. He still has his sprayer, but is not as good in my first look here, like taking, let's say, the Malignant Plaguecaster. He can prevent the enemies advancing within 9 inches, but yeah, maybe that's quite situational when that can be used. So no longer an auto take, I think. The Taliban, my personal favorite over the years, because I like this guy that he's in the middle of the battlefield and taking notes and doing math hammering, probably with his abacus here, like said GeneralJannis, but he still gives us a command point gain on a 7+. But now he doesn't give the +1 to hit or something like that, but he can ignore modifiers to hit rolls, weapon skill or ballistic skill to the unit he's leading. So not as strong as previously, still could be interesting with the command points. Noxious Blightbringer, he gives +1 move, he can reroll advance and charge rolls, and he can also lead Poxwalkers. Not all Virion can lead Poxwalkers, but the Noxious Blightbringer and the Malignant Plaguecaster and the Typhus, of course, can lead Poxwalkers as well. Could be quite interesting, but then they don't have the Infiltrator. So the Plague Surgeon, he can return 1 model back from the dead. He can himself crit on 5+ with his own sword. If he's with Biologus, doesn't really matter. And the Icon Bearer gives +1 objective control, and once per battle he can select a unit that is battle shocked and bring it back. So it's not battle shocked. Could be quite interesting. Could be situational where you need to take control on an objective late on in the game. But I think from the Virion, Biologus Purifier stands out as the biggest star here. Then if we take a look at our vehicles, we have the Plaguebear Scroller. Now his mortar. The mortar ability is that it can deal mortal wounds, let's say on a cluster on the unit is hitting and units that are close by to that unit. On a 6+ they can get mortal wounds, or on a 5+ on afflicted units. That could be some interesting synergy if you have 3 of these Plaguebear Scrollers on your backline. Maybe Mortarion's Hammer detachment, where you can select 1 or 2 units outside your enemy's contagion that are afflicted, and then you could be dealing on 5+. You could deal some mortal wounds on top and clear something in the backlines or something like that. And then maybe in combination with Deathshroud deep striking at 6 inches, that could be quite nasty. The Mephitic Blightholders, now a big change is that you can no longer take 3 in a unit, only 1 or 2. They seem also to go up in points, but we don't know exactly yet. Previously they were +1 to wound versus vehicles, now they are +1 to wound and +1 to hit versus vehicles. And maybe the biggest change is the Furtive Bloatdrone. They are separated now to 2 data sheets. The normal, let's say, Furtive Bloatdrone is the mower and spitter version that still can fall back, shoot and charge, where you can select the spitters or the mower for this combination. But very interesting now, the Furtive Bloatdrone with the Heavy Blightlauncher version probably will be more expensive. The Heavy Blightlauncher has a very nasty profile now, D6 +2 shots, blast and lethal hits, strength 10, AP -2, damage 3, so really a Terminator or infantry killer weapon. And also if it kills a unit, it can spread a contagion or afflict units that were close to that unit. So really interesting, and have to do the Mathhammer on that one. But so you basically could have 3 of this type and 3 of this type, so 6 Furtive Bloatdrones on the table. And then if we look at the Defiler, not huge changes, but he can shoot so the enemy doesn't get the benefit of cover for the rest of the phase. Is it sufficient ability to take it for that? But yeah, but still some interesting ability here. The Hellbrute no longer can spread the contagion, let's say, but he's +1 to wound versus afflicted units. And then we kept the generic predators, let's say the Predator, Destructor, and Annihilator. The Destructor, when it's shooting at a non-vehicle or non-monster unit, for the rest of the phase, you can improve the AP versus that enemy. So nice, you can make some nice combos with a Predator shooting at something, and then the rest of the army can shoot better versus that infantry target, or yeah. And the Predator Annihilator, he no longer rerolls the damage versus vehicles and monsters, but he can deal mortal wounds on certain conditions, but maybe not as strong as rerolling the damage roll. Finally, for the transports, the Rhino, some interesting rules. He no longer, let's say, get some wounds back, but he has it has the fire support ability. And when it shoots an enemy and just hits with some of his combi bolt or small weapons, the disembarked models from the Rhino can reroll all to wound versus that enemy. So it's really strong, disembarking a huge blob of Plague Marines with leaders. You shoot with your bolters on a big target, let's say, and then you have the critical hits on 5+, then sustained hits from the Malignant Plaguecaster, and then rerolling all to wound for the rest of the shots. You can really do some nasty damage with a big disembarking blob of Plague Marines. And as I read the rules, and please correct me if I'm wrong, now it could be able to transport Poxwalkers, because now the restriction is only that it cannot take Terminator models, but you could put 10 Poxwalkers in this guy. Interesting side note. And the Land Raider pretty much unchanged. So, reaching to the summary and final thoughts, and as you can hear, my voice is getting more raspy. Nurgle keeps blessing me. I'll probably go back to bed after this. So really exciting times ahead with our new Codex. The winners so far, in my humble opinion, from the first glance I've looked at all these leaked rules, the Infiltrating Poxwalkers, the Plague Marines that you anyway will take, can spread the contagion at range. Malignant Plaguecaster together with Biologus Fruitifier seems to be a crazy combo. The Deathshroud deep striking at 6 inches versus let's say afflicted targets. A lot of contagion can give them sustained hits and give them lance, etc. And then the Bloatdrone with a Blightlords seems a very interesting new choice. The Rhino rules and a lot of more interesting things and how we will combine it. There will be a lot of math hammering in this channel, and we have of course to see the final points to be able to compare which units are the best choices, and a lot of synergies on top of the data sheets that we've seen today. There is a lot of synergies with enhancements and stratagems and detachment rules, etc. So this concludes this video. What do you think about our new Codex? Are you also as excited and hopefully not as blessed by Nurgle as I am at the moment? Please leave a note, and really always appreciate all your comments, and thank you for liking and subscribing the channel, helping me the channel to grow. So with these words, GeneralJannis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.